Hi guys! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the different types of traders. What are those and how are they different from each other? So without further ado, let's get started. There are two categories where the different types of traders fall into place. These are the fundamental analysis and the technical analysis. In order to understand what is a fundamental analysis and technical analysis, we need to ask the questions what, who, when, and why. So let's go first with the question what. So what is fundamental analysis and technical analysis? In terms of fundamental analysis, it is the analyzation of the price movement based on the economic news, political news, disasters, or anything that might affect a country's economy and growth. On the other hand, technical analysis is the analyzation of the price movement based on indicators, price actions, chart patterns, candlestick patterns, or anything that you can see and might be useful within the chart. Now, going to who and when. Who are the users of fundamental analysis and technical analysis, and when are they used? So in terms of fundamental analysis, long-term traders or the so-called position traders, hodlers, or investors are more into this kind of analysis. That's because they tend to look at the value of an asset in the long-term market direction. But in terms of finding an entry point, take profit target, and stop loss, some also uses technical analysis to time their trades better, just like what a short-term traders do. So in terms of fundamental analysis, long-term traders are more into it. On the other hand, in terms of technical analysis, short-term traders are more into it. The thing is, the shorter the time frame you trade, the more you need to rely on technical analysis. That's because human emotions is one of the factors which makes the market more volatile. Unlike in fundamental analysis, what drives the market is how these people or investors see or perceives the upcoming news and events and how it would affect the market. Okay? And lastly, why do we use technical analysis and fundamental analysis? Some uses technical analysis because it is more simple than fundamental analysis. I think we can all agree that it's a lot easier to study charts compared to learning about inflation, GDP, economic backgrounds, etc. On the other hand, some still uses fundamental analysis because it truly is a lot more profitable in the long run compared to technical analysis. So ano nga ba ang mas better? Well, that depends on what kind of trader you are. Whether you are a scalper, day trader, swing trader, or an investor. Also, there are other factors to consider which we will gonna talk about later on. So for now, let's go first to the types of traders. The first one is a scalper. So as a scalper, the goal is to have as much trades as you can, which requires a lot of screen time. Scalpers tend to have higher trade frequency but smaller targets due to their short trade durations. Kumbaga, the goal is to make small profits sa bawat trade na papasukin mo. This requires discipline because you need to be precise with your entry points, exits, and cut losses ng trades mo. One little mistake can cause a big impact on your profitability. Kailangan, no emotions. You have to accept that not all trades are winning trades, especially if you are a scalper. After one trade, move on to the next one kasi the main goal naman is to make as much profit and as much trades as you can within the day. It also requires high risk tolerance due to the high frequency of your trades. Meaning, you are more exposed to risk dahil nga sa dami ng trades na pinapasok mo in one day. The more trades you enter, the more risk you are exposed. Now, in terms of time frame, it is usually done on a 1 minute to 15 minute time frame. So dahil nga you're just scalping, Dun ka sa time frame wherein you can enter and exit fast. As a scalper, it doesn't matter how small your profit is. The goal is to gain as much as you can in all the trades you are going to enter. So it doesn't matter kung gaano kaliit yung profit mo sa bawat trades. Pag pinagsama-sama yung maliliit na gains na yon sa lahat ng trades mo for the day, that's the main purpose. Now, going to pros and cons. In terms of pros, you don't need to wait for days, weeks, months, or years to see how much you have profit. Within the day, you can compute for the total amount you have earned from each of the trades you have made. Another is that, due to the short trade durations of a scalper, hindi ka maiipit sa mga sudden dumps ng market. On the other hand, in terms of cons, mas stressful ang pagiging scalper kasi kailangan tutok ka sa pagtitrade. Dahil nga short trade durations ang mga trades na ine-enter mo, you need to learn how to control your emotions and discipline when it comes to your strategies. Next is the day trader or day trading. As a day trader or in day trading, the goal is to capture the intraday volatility of the market. It does not require too much screen time just like in scalping, but it still requires a certain amount of time in order to maximize your trades. Also, from the name itself, day trading, meaning all your trades should be done and closed within the day or before the day ends. Day trading tends to have a lower frequency trade than scalping. You may have 0 to 5 trades per day. Yes, you heard it right. You may have 0 trade in a day. That's because if there are no clear market trend for a certain day or if it is too volatile to find the right entry and exit for a trade, better to not enter at all. There's a saying that goes, sometimes the best trade is the trade that you didn't take. Meaning, it is better to not take the trade instead of entering a trade with uncertainty which may just lead to a losing trade. Now, same with scalping. It also requires discipline and precision when it comes to your entry, target profits, and cut losses. The risk tolerance depends on the number of trades you'll be able to make for a certain day. Some days you'll be able to trade more than twice or thrice, some days you won't. Now, in terms of time frame, it is usually done on a 30 minutes to 4-hour time frame. It's almost the same like scalping wherein you make the most out of your trades for the day and you trade as much as you can, but the difference is you aim for a larger profit than scalping, which is why you look at the higher time frames such as 30 minutes to 4 hours in order to catch the intraday volatility of the market. You aim to catch those mini swing trends of the market within the day. Now, going to pros and cons. In terms of pros, it's the same with scalping. You'll be able to see the results immediately. And if you are consistent with your profits, most likely you'll be profitable on most months. On the other hand, when it comes to cons, it's kinda stressful then because of the screen time required. It also requires no emotions attached. Kailangan mabilis ka makamove on from your trades in order to maximize the trades na pwede mong gawin or pasukin within the day. There's no time to grieve for your losses. There's no time to think na sayang dapat inantay ko pa siya tumaas or dapat di pa ako nag-exit sa ganitong point. You have to move on from your trades immediately in order for you to maximize the trades you can enter within the day. Because all in all, the main goal is the total profits you'll be able to earn for that certain day. Okay? The third type of trader is the swing traders or the swing trading. In swing trading naman, the goal is to capture the big moves of the market, which might take days or weeks. Unlike the first two types, does not require much screen time. You just take some time to check the market move whenever you have a spare time. Now, in terms of swing traders or swing trading, it has a lower frequency trade than the first two. You may have 1 to 3 trades per week because here we aim to catch only the biggest swing or movement of the market within the whole week. Most of the times, there's just 1 or 2 big movements within a week, unless there are sudden pumps and dumps. But of course, make sure to be careful with those, okay? Now, in terms of swing trading, it requires discipline. Well, actually, whatever type of trader you are, it really requires discipline, especially when it comes to your targets and cut losses. Nagkakatalo lang in terms of the entry, kasi unlike in scalping and day trading, which you should be precise with your entry, swing trade doesn't care about that much, as long as you get to ride the big trend within the market. It requires patience kasi it would take time before mo makita yung results or profit ng mga trades mo. As I mentioned, it might take days or weeks before you see the results. Now, in terms of time frame, it is usually done on a 4-hour to 1-week time frame. Now, going to pros, less screen time is equals to less stress kasi you're not affected of the small ups and downs of the market. It also has lower risk tolerance due to the low trade frequency, so mas onting trades, mas less likely to be exposed in risk, unlike with scalping and day trading, na you enter as many trades as you can. With swing trading, pinipili mo lang yung mga trades na gagawin mo, and you gotta plan it carefully in order for it to be profitable. In terms of cons, you won't be able to ride the trend. Now, what does this mean? Let's say we are in a 1-day time frame, and this is how the market goes. So this would be our support, and this is our resistance. Now, what we aim for in swing trading is to ride that big trend within the market. As much as possible, we would like to enter the trade from the support up to the resistance level. But as we mentioned, in terms of swing trading, the precision and entry point isn't that necessary as long as you'll be able to ride the big trend within the market. So it doesn't matter whether you entered from the support area or in the middle of the trend as long as you'll be able to ride the big swing and exit from the resistance. Now going back, after you exit from the resistance, you have to wait for another opportunity to be able to ride another swing within the market. So in this example, we have to wait for it to bounce back at the support level before we enter another swing. Once it bounced back, that's when we enter the trade from the support up to the resistance again. Now, what we meant when we said that we won't be able to ride the trend is because by the time that the price breaks out from the resistance level, we have already exited our trade. That is, if you will follow your trading plan. Of course, it is also possible to continue your trade riding this larger trend in the market. But that will now depend on your risk management. You can always take profit whenever you are already happy with your gains. Also, remember that this is a swing trade. Therefore, these swings we are talking about will take days and even weeks before it hits your target. So, the last one are the position traders, which are also known as the hodlers. Sila yung mga for long term talaga. So, out of all the different types of traders, these traders has the least screen time needed. Bakit? Kasi what they look for is the future of the coins they invest in. They research on the fundamentals and future projects of the coins they invest in, which they think would grow into something bigger. In short, ang habol nila is the growth of the company or ng coins that they invest in. Which is also the reason why they usually have just one trade. Kasi once they enter a trade, it's an investment. They aim for the long run. They aim to be part of the future of the company or the coin. In terms of requirement, you need to have knowledge on the company's fundamentals. The purpose of the coins, why does it exist, ano bang goal ng team behind it, or may future projects ba sila, etc. In terms of time frame, what you look for is the long-term trend, which is why in terms of time frame, you use 1 day to monthly time frame. That's because in higher time frame, you can see a clearer view of the market trend. Where will it go and how was the past trend and activities of the market? Now, going to pros. So, syempre, larger range of target means larger profit. So, in terms of all the types of traders, investors or hodlers are the most profitable dahil sakop ng range nila yung buong trend ng market. It's also the least stressful kasi you're not affected by the sudden pumps and dumps because you know and you are confident na it has good fundamentals, which is why kahit na mag-dump pa siya ng 20%, 50% or whatever, you know na at some point babalik at babalik din siya sa pagtaas. On the other hand, in terms of cons, it requires the most patience out of all and the longest time before you see the results. Kasi it's like you're being part of the company. You watch them grow into something bigger. You invest time and effort on them and watch them grow into something which has a higher value. So now that we all know the different types of traders, the question is, how would I know which style to use? So here are the things to consider to know what type of trader suits you. So the first one is your risk tolerance. You need to ask the questions, are you someone who is a risk taker? Can you handle your emotions when it comes to trading losses? Kasi the shorter the trade duration, the higher risk or higher possibility for losing trades. Another factor to consider is patience. You need to ask the questions, are you patient enough to wait for your trades every day? Ikaw ba yung taong di mapakali pag wala kang ginagalaw sa trades mo? Or gusto mo ba yung nakikita mo agad yung progress and results ng trade mo? Now, in relation with patience, you also need discipline. So, are you disciplined enough to follow your trade plan? So, if you're someone na di mo kayang panindigan yung trade plan mo for a long time, then you better trade on a lower time frame and have shorter trade durations. Now, the fourth one is experience. I included experience kasi I believe that if you are going to trade shorter time frame, it requires experience and knowledge before you become a fully profitable trader. It would take you lots of experience and learnings before mo magamay yung mga tamang pag-i-scalp or pagde-day trade. The longer the trade duration, the safer. There's a saying that goes, as a beginner, your goal is to keep as much money as you can from your capital. That's because a lot of beginners tend to rush yung pag-profit. You have to understand that it doesn't work that way. Some people might be lucky if they end up earning a lot on their first year of trading, but most people don't. You have to remember that it's okay to have losses, and remember that the goal is to keep as much money as you can from your capital, not the other way around. Now lastly, and the most important factor to consider is your lifestyle. Do you have a job? Are you a busy person? Or are you doing trading in full time? Because remember, certain type of trader requires certain amount of time. So if you are someone who is busy, you can't be a scalper for it requires a lot of screen time. But if you have lots of free time, I bet you'll be impatient to wait for a long period of time before you see your results. So, better to try trading in lower time frame if you think you are impatient. Now, to end this video, I'll be leaving you with these lessons. The first one is that you don't need to figure out what type of trader suits you right away. You may try all the different types and see what works best for you. No need to rush if you are not yet profitable. Invest in your knowledge first and profit will follow. And lastly, your trading style will evolve as you gain experience. So there's no need to rush, okay? Just enjoy the process of learning and the rest will follow. So that's all for this video. See you on the next one.